Good morning, dear student. Today I am going to talk about ecosystems. Before we start the ecosystem, we know that what do you mean by biotic component, what do you mean by abiotic component. Because biotic and abiotic both are interacted to form a stable self-supporting system to form an ecosystem. So biotic component means living organisms, all our living organisms are called as biotic components or biotic community. Then abiotic components means non-living organisms like air, water, wind, uh, soil. These are the abiotic components. And biotic community or biotic components like plant, animals, microorganisms. These are called as the biotic components. So, what do we mean by ecosystem? Ecosystem means it is defined as it is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms which connect with each other. Okay. Also, we can define as it is the interconnected with the biotic components and abiotic components to form a stable self-supporting system to form an ecosystems. So, ecosystem is a what are the concept of an ecosystem means it is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms are interact to form a uh, stable self-supporting systems called as a ecosystems. These are the figures shown in ecosystems. Uh, Both are biotic organisms, abiotic organisms. Both are interconnect or interact to form a stable self-supporting systems. These are also non-living and living. Both are, for example, um, aquatic community, which are both living and non-living, which are interact to form a stable self-supporting system. So these are common example of an ecosystems. The concept of an ecosystem. The concept of an ecosystem means it is defined as natural, functional, ecological unit consisting of living organisms or that a biotic community and a non-living or called as abiotic or physiochemical environment that interact to form a stable self-supporting systems. So common examples ecosystem like pond, lake, desert, grassland, forest, these are the common examples of ecosystems. So these are the figures shown in an ecosystems. So both abiotic components and these are the biotic components which are interrelate or interconnect to form a self-supporting, a stable self-supporting system. And these are the concept of an ecosystem. Like this, these are producers, these are the consumers, these are the solar energy, carbon dioxide. These are the abiotic components. Uh, these are the called as the concept of an ecosystems. The structure of an ecosystem. Structure means there are two main components. The structure of an ecosystem means two main components like abiotic and biotic components. The abiotic components is also mainly two types: climatic factors, aerobic factors. Climatic factors include rain, temperature, light, wind, humidity. These are the climatic factors. Aerobic factors include soil, pH, topographic, minerals. These are the aerobic factors. All both climatic factors, aerobic factors, both are combined to form abiotic components. There are two types. More details go through following NPTEL link. So we have more discuss about the NPTEL link. So biotic components means we know that biotic means living organism. Living organism include the plant, animals, microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, present in an ecosystems form a biotic components on the basis of their role in the ecosystem. So biotic components is also classified into three main groups: producers, consumers, decomposers. Decomposers is also known as reducers. So producer, what do you mean by producers? Producer which make their own food is called as a producer. So like plant Plants make their own food through photosynthesis by the help of chlorophyll, soil, air, water, carbon dioxide. So, to make a food. So, uh, plant plant is called as a producers. So, consumers means who depend upon the producers called as a consumers. So these are the structure of an ecosystem. Structure of an ecosystem means producers, these are links, producers, consumers, and decomposers. These are the consumers are also different parts like primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, quaternary consumers. So these are the structure of an ecosystems. Okay, means producers like, for example, plant. Uh, so consumers means herbivores. Herbivores which depend on the plant. So they eat plant. So it is called as a herbivores. So uh, carnivores means we depend on herbivores. We eat herbivores, which are called as carnivores. So carnivores is many parts like primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. So all are linked, all are depend. These are called as a structure of an ecosystems. So, schematic representation of the structure of an ecosystem. Schematic representation means all the ecosystems these are one sequence. Okay, these are called as the schematic representation. Ecosystem is two components: abiotic components, biotic components. So, abiotic components means climatic and epiphytic. Two factors: climatic factors, epiphytic factors. So, climatic factors include rain, light, water, wind. These are the climatic factors. Aerobic factors mean soil, pH, minerals, topography. These are the aerobic factors. These are all are, include the abiotic components. So biotic components means these are classified into three main groups: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers is also known as autotrophs. Consumers is also called as heterotrophs. Decomposers is also called as satrotrophs. Okay, so producer means like plant. Plant make their own food is called as the producers. Consumers means these are the four parts like primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and quaternary consumers. The primary consumers is also called as the herbivores. Secondary consumers is also called as the primary carnivores. Tertiary consumers are also called as the large carnivores. Quaternary consumers also called as the omnivores. Okay, then decomposers are Satrotrophs. These are the schematic representation of the structure of an ecosystems. What are functions of an ecosystem? The principal steps in an operation. What are the principal steps of an ecosystem? So principal steps like reception of radiant energy of sun and the manufacture of organic materials from inorganic ones by the producers. We know that sun is the main source to when plants trap um, uh, sun trap the energy or solar energy uh, when trap the plant to make it their own food is called as a producers. Okay, so receive of radiant energy of sun. Okay, the manufacture of organic materials from inorganic ones by the producer. So producer make their own food by the help of the solar energy and other materials, organic materials. So which called as by depend upon the by the producers. Then second one is consumptions of producers by consumers. So consumptions will depend upon food or depend to make when producer make their own food. Uh, so they eat when the animals eat and plant is called as consumers. Animal eat that plant is called as consumers. So consumptions are produced by consumers. So consumers depend on producers. Okay, and further elaboration of consumed materials. Uh, so these are the another is after the death of the producers and the consumers, complex organic compounds are degraded. After death of the producers, like many plants and animals, which after death, so uh, can be formed into complex organic compounds which are degraded and finally converted by decomposers, and converted into such forms are suitable for reutilization by producers. So reutilization of the producer. These are the function of an ecosystem. Major principal steps in the operation. Okay. Then an energy flow in an ecosystem. Energy flow means which is the pathway of energy or energy flow means when uh, minerals the plant make their own food by the help of the photosynthesis. When sun trap the when sun give the solar energy which depend on the plant to make their food. And another is animal expression, breathing, animal breathing when oxygen take and carbon dioxide give out to the environment. Another is combustion. Combustion means anyhow making the food, house making the food. Uh, so gases comes out to the atmosphere. Ecology, combustions, plant expression. Uh, all are these the energy flow in an ecosystems. Okay, these are the energy flow of an ecosystems. So energy flow of an ecosystem means each organism living in an ecosystem plays an important role in the flow of energy within the food web. Food web means the combination of food chain. It's called as a food web. Ecologists have defined as three ways that living creatures use energy and interact with one another. Organisms are defined as producers, consumers, and decomposers. Ecological succession is cyclic pathway. So cyclic pathway to form a ecological succession. Okay, like climax forest, which link with the disturbance, which gives us the grasses. Uh, Grasses gives us the shrubs gives us the small trees gives us the climax forest, the climax forest gives us the disturbance, like this. Means we say cyclic process, a cyclic pathway is called as ecological succession. Then another is food chain, food web, and ecological pyramids. So food chain, which means that it is a sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food and energy from organism to organism. Means food chain, it is a sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food and energy from one organism to organism. For example, plant which convert the solar energy to food by photosynthesis are the primary food source. Then when herbivores animal feed on plant, means herbivores called as the herbivores, animal feed on plant, the energy is transferred from the plant to the animals. So energy is transferred from the plant to the animals. So these are the links. In all ecosystems, some of the animals feed on other living organism, while some feed on dead decaying organic matter. Like these producers, we depend on primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and quaternary consumers. These are the single pathway. Single pathway is called as a sequence. It is a sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food and energy from organism to organism. These are called as the food chain. So food chains means it is a sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food and energy from organism to organism. Okay, these are called as the food chain. So like this, these are shown the food chain. Food chain means it's a single pathway, a single links, like uh, for examples, grass which is producers to make their own food, then grasshopper depend on the grass, then frog which depend on the grasshopper, which is called as a secondary consumers, then snakes depend upon the frog, which is called they eat snakes eat frog, so these are called as the tertiary consumers. Then hug final consumers, which is feed on the snakes. Then lastly, finally, dead and decaying matter, which is decomposers, which is called as a fungi, form a fungi. This is called as a systematic or sequence of single chain pathway, okay, which is sequence of the energy and matter from organism to organism. They are called as a food chain.